Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my podcast. Today I have a special guest. I have Joko Reantaso.
Hey guys.
Hi Joko,
Hey.
how are you doing?
Well, I'm good, like most of us. Locked inside our homes.
Right.
I'm trying to fighting boredom right now, and yeah, trying to be productive. Um, getting a lot of practice time lately, and I have some time to write new material,
Mm,
and also had lots of opportunities to create new content or work with other people and all. I also did a few collaborations lately and did some fundraisers with a few groups and organizations who are trying to help fight this pandemic. So I'm all good.
yeah, it's good. I see that a lot of musicians I talk to, they say that they're finding because of the time that they have now, so they find inspiration also the COVID to write music and do a lot of collaborations, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of hard to find new inspirations as well because you're within your premises. You can't see anything new.
Mm,
Then the maybe like my source of inspiration I always get from social media and they the latest news, current events. But it's not how I do it usually
right.
because I'm always out. I'm always out with friends, and it's a new experience too. So kind of getting in the hang of it. I had like 80 plus days to adjust. So yeah,
So, what a lot of people don't know is that we met because I took guitar lessons from
yeah,
you in the Kahuna Music Academy, right?
yeah. It was around 2018. We started 2018, right?
I think late 2017 to
Yeah,
2018, I think we.
I remember our first session.
Right,
The first time we met, there was a Manny Pacquiao fight, and it
right.
was loud as hell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the bad thing is he lost, so it got even louder when it was announced. So damn.
I really miss that place, Kahuna, actually.
Yeah, me too. It's like the go-to place every Sunday for me because
Yeah,
it's a place where I can actually get to recharge because I'm always swamped within the weekdays
right.
and also have gigs on Saturdays or like extracurricular stuff with school on Saturdays and like the and the Kahuna hangout sessions and the lessons are like one of my highlights during that time, that stretch when it was still running.
Do you still meet or talk to the other teachers like Jake and Sid?
No, like, we haven't gotten touch recently, but I sure love to because I miss them a lot. I miss
Yeah,
hanging out with them. And we have our and they have their own thing already. Jake's married, Sid has
right.
cat fight, and I'm doing my solo thing right now. So they're kind of busy. So haven't got the opportunity to
But do you
hang out.
but do you still conduct lessons?
Yeah, I still do. But now during the quarantine, I decided to stop with lessons at the moment because I'm trying to because I'm pretty busy with different projects right now. I'm working on I'm producing a single for J Ortega
Okay.
um, to get and that single we featured Miss Ramon and Dan Hill, and I have upcoming collaboration projects and yeah, the release of my EP. So I didn't have I don't want to split my mind,
Right,
yeah,
right,
because yeah, I easily get distracted.
right. So I know that you started playing guitar when you were very young. So can
Yeah.
you tell me a little bit about how did you started and what got you interested of playing guitar?
Um, I think the guitar was introduced to me when I was around 7, but I didn't really have any interest in playing it seriously because um, at 7 I I saw everything as toys. Like I saw the guitar as a plaything,
Hmm.
and it was introduced to me when my dad brought home a Mr. Big CD. Yeah, when I watched Paul Gilbert, I just aired guitar
Right.
all day. Um, it was Mr. Big live in San Francisco, 1992. Yeah, that's my first experience with the guitar. And my dad, that time, my dad bought me a guitar for Christmas, and I didn't really take it seriously. Just like played around with it because at 7, 8 years old, it was just a toy. But at around when I was around 10 years old, um, my dad bought a game called Guitar Hero,
Right.
and that reignited my interest in the guitar. Um, and the Guitar Hero game we often played was Guitar Hero 3. And in Guitar Hero 3, you can find Eric Johnson's Cruise of October in there.
Hmm.
It's part of the song lineup of the game, and that's what we played most of the time. And uh, like what I said, my interest in the guitar reignited. But I didn't think of playing the guitar at first because I'm still enjoying the game. But
Right.
my dad would beat me every time. Like I never get past his high score on Guitar Hero. Yeah, so I got really frustrated and I just decided, nah, I'll just learn the guitar for you. Yeah, I'll just learn Cliffs of Dover for you. And yeah, that was the time when I took playing guitar seriously and just snowballed from there on.
So did you take like lessons earlier in your those days? Did you take guitar lessons? So
Yeah. At first, I took lessons from Casa Musica in Alabang. We only had like 6 to 8 sessions. Didn't last long because after that, after the lessons, I already got enough to study on my own. And after that I started my own band when I was like 12.
mm,
But yeah, and when I was 12, 13-ish, I was playing in my high school. We were playing songs from Pantera, um, Avenged Sevenfold, and that I got a lot of practice time then. So I got comfortable with the guitar. But I think uh, my continuous musical growth started when I was introduced to the blues music.
mm,
Um, blues was in blues was introduced to me by this luthier called Medel Miguel, but I call him Tatay Ambo. Yeah, we were
mm,
very close. Like he introduced me to the blues, basic jazz, and he taught me like basic theory at the time. And what we did is just show up at his house and just hang out. And then he'll just bust out the guitar and just, oh, here, Joko, try to do this. Oh, try to research this. There is a guitar player who could do this. And
mm.
I think that would fit your style right now. And that helped a lot with my growth. And he brought me to Roadhouse, Manila Bay. Have you heard of Roadhouse?
Yeah, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, yeah, it's a blues. Yeah, for those who don't know, Roadhouse, it's a blues restaurant bar behind Mall of Asia. And every Sundays they would hold open jams hosted by 69 Proof. And I just went every Sunday and just practiced what Tatay Ambo taught me at that time. But the good thing about Tatay Ambo is he didn't spoon feed me everything. He would just give me things to research so that I look them up on my own,
Mm.
and that helped me a lot with how I learn new stuff. Because but now I take it upon myself to to research new techniques, new approaches in playing the guitar, and that rooted from what Tatayampo taught me when I was like 14. Yeah.
So what were the songs that those days, like early blues songs, you covered?
Yeah. There were a lot. Like at Roadhouse, they just tell me what key we're gonna play, and I'll just follow the bass player.
Oh, okay.
And at that time, we played songs like Roadhouse Blues, Red House,
Mm.
um, and classic rock, even classic rock songs like um, Freebird.
Mm.
Uh, we did some Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff and
Right.
lots of Hendrix. And I I just like grew up. My guitar playing grew as I came to the jams more often. Yeah. And I didn't even need to learn the songs, and they just tell me, okay, we're gonna play in A, we're gonna play in B flat. Okay, just follow the bases. And yeah, I think there were still a lot of songs,
Mm.
even jammed like blues instrumental jams, like just play around in A, just solo. And yeah,
Yeah. So
there is still a lot, but yeah.
right. And then when did the you had a band, right? Or you have the band Mean J. So when did the Mean J started?
It started around 2014.
Mm.
Um, I really wanted to have a band of my own because um, the only playing time I could get is every Sundays. Uh, but I want to like, play regularly,
Mm.
and I want to play at different bars too. So I kind of started I think on my own. Found a couple of people and just um, uh, practiced together and kind of snowballed from there. And um, at first we were only playing cover songs. Like we were playing Voodoo Child, like
Mm.
every gig Voodoo Child, like an 8 minute Voodoo Child. That yeah, you can't play Voodoo Child if you're just gonna play it like in less than 5 minutes. Yeah, and I think we kind of got recognition uh, from being the band who plays old songs.
Right.
Yeah, and like after that, we played a few prod gigs. Um, we opened for Razor back then.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a really surreal experience. Like we were only a few months in, and we got the opportunity to open for Razor back at 19 East.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I
and
heard the story that you joined a competition and you actually went abroad to
yeah,
the Philippines, right?
yeah. That was the Philippine Blues competition. Yeah, and we we joined. When we joined, we didn't really know how far we could get. We just wanna experience the whole thing. Yeah, participating, meeting um, other bands, learn from them, and we didn't really expect that we'd reach the finals. And
Right.
uh, we were the youngest, the youngest band ever to reach the finals in the Philippine competition at that time, because
Mm.
I was only 15. I just turned 15 at that time, and um, my bandmates Zach and Carissa were in their late teens. I think Carissa was like 19, Zach was 18 or
Mm.
17, and around that time. No, not all of us were under 20, so like it was kind of unexpected as well. And even though we placed fourth, we were chosen to represent the Philippines the youth showcase at the same event happening in Memphis.
Mm.
So it's the International Blues Challenge. So um, yeah, we we were chosen as the representatives for the youth showcase, and we really didn't expect what we do in Memphis actually, because when we arrived at Memphis, we were only scheduled to do two gigs. That was the actual youth showcase and the the show organized by the Philippine Blues Society, where the Philippine representatives um, would do a showcase. So we were there with the Brat Pack
Mm.
and Glass Cherry Breakers. Glass Cherry Breakers was really all-star band. They were a really they were really booming because they had Louis Talan, they had
Mm.
Megan Aguilar, um, they had Sammy Asuncion, and they had Boyet Aquino. And yeah, it was really they were really intimidating, but they were really nice. Yeah. So again, so we were originally scheduled to do two gigs, right? But in the span of I think 3 4 days, we ended up with 9 gigs.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it was kind of a journey too, because right after we got off the plane, we went to our hotel, and um, went uh, went to Beale Street right after uh, to meet up with the other Filipino contingents.
Right.
And I was looking up for open jams around that span. It was at around the festival. It was around January, and I found a bars, few few spots where we could open jam. So we went directly to the Purple Haze bar. So, and it was kind of a dream come true because we played Purple Haze at the Purple Haze. Yeah, and gigs, and after that, like people saw us. People were starting to take notice. People were booking us.
Right.
Um, there are some people who are actually calling our hotel to know what our plan is, or to get a hold of us so they could book us. So yeah, so we ended up with 9 gigs in 4 days. Yeah,
So
it was a really tiring experience, but it was really fun.
yeah, but it's a good, very good experience, right? So
Yeah,
so those days when you're playing blues and you're playing with like all the, because typically the blues artists are all the artists in the Philippines, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So how about your friends in school? What do they say? You're playing this type of music?
Um, when I was playing the blues back then, I was still in high school. So, and um, my classmates, they really didn't know what I was playing. Like they were still requesting like pop songs for me to play in school, and and it's fine. Yeah, they didn't really know the merit of blues playing as a musician, because they were non-musicians when I was studying in high school. But when I reached college, and I'm taking up music production right now in CSB
Mm.
in Benil, and I met a lot of people with a really wide musical appreciation. So yeah, in playing the blues, they saw the merits of playing the blues, and and uh, I loved that they respected it. So yeah, but with blues, I kind of grew up with people older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Most of my friends are already in their 30s. So
Yeah, but it's good that keeping alive that type of music, because a lot of
Mm.
people don't listen to that anymore, right? Because of all the new stuff.
Yeah.
But so Joko, when did you so you started playing guitar cover songs, and then when did you like realize that you want to write your own songs? And how did that happen? What was your first song you wrote?
Um, the first song I wrote was we were preparing for a competition called Sessionistas, and back then we were only playing cover songs.
Right.
So in with the competition, there was a format that we had to perform original songs, and we only had a week to write a new song. So I already had this riff in mind. Um, I was trying to think of lyrics, but I already had a melody,
Hmm.
and I just thought that maybe you just turn this into an instrumental, so we could cook it faster. Like we have, for example, I already had the melody, I already had the riff. Um, if we spent more time thinking about the lyrics, we would have less time in arranging the whole thing. So, okay, we just went with the melody, played it on the guitar, and the song was called Mean J Anthem. And it was my first instrumental. It was the first instrumental I wrote and the first instrumental song I played live.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think my instrumental journey started from there, and like after that, I wrote a few songs with lyrics and all, and I also had a fun time writing lyrics. But um, there's a thing with instrumental songs. Um, Writing instrumental music feels more natural to me. Um, uh, when I write, for example, Sunny Side Up. Now, when I wrote that song, I was coming from a very fun experience. Was coming from a very happy place. Um, and when I wrote that song, it seemed to me like the guitar wrote the song instead of me. Because and I felt more comfortable communicating through my guitar and kind of felt that my fingers could express what I was feeling better than what I can articulate through words. Yeah. Um, so I think that's why I really got to instrumental music.
Right.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah, go ahead.
when I started appreciating instrumental music again, I became bandmates with Tope Domingo and Francis Lim. Shout out, miss
Hmm.
you guys. Um, I fell in love with progressive music when I met them,
Right.
and when we were in Mean J, because we played together as Mean J, like after Zach and Carissa
Hmm.
and Paul and Tin, and we covered a lot more instrumental music when we were together. We covered songs from Rush. We covered YYZ. We played an instrumental version of Purple Rain,
Hmm.
and we had plans to cover more instrumentals. So that's I think where I got comfortable with the idea of doing purely instrumentals, because you really didn't expect the I didn't really expect the feedback we'd get from the audience back then. It was a fairly new thing. Well, it's not new. Lots of other people did it, but it was new to us. So yeah,
I think it's kind of new to the audience, because typically in Manila, in a bar gigs, you don't really hear instrumentals that much, right? It's more of because I seen you a couple of times, so like you covered John Petrucci, right? That
yeah.
last showcase. So I seen that. Uh, yeah, it's so you got you start. I mean, started playing and you got really good with the guitar. You were representing Fender, right?
Yeah.
You still
Um, I'm kind of a free agent right now because I wanted to try out different types of guitars. I want to try out 7 strings, guitars
Right.
with 24 frets, and like guitars that has new technology. But I still love and appreciate Fender till now because they did a lot for me.
Mm.
Our relationship began right after the Memphis trip, the blues thing. And when I applied to Fender, it was Julio Pampo at first, um, because back then we were finding companies to sponsor our trip to Memphis. We
Right.
were already in contact with them. And what they did was they didn't have like since it was the end of the year, um, we talked to Fabio Pampo at around December. It was the end of the year. Couldn't really dish out cash, but what they could do is they could uh, endorse me to Fender so I could become a brand ambassador. And at first, I thought that my endorsement contract would be exclusively with Yupanko, but I was really surprised, but that Fender US co-signed my contract, so I was really under, and and the contract was really with Fender,
Mm.
and they gave me two beautiful guitars, what you could see here, here, here,
Yeah.
yeah, and here is this, yeah, here. So, yeah. And not just the guitars. Like they opened up two avenues for me. Like they the Fender brought me to NAM back in 2017, and in NAM we got to meet a lot of people. And being a Fender endorsement, I being a Fender endorser, I think that kind of put me on the map
Mm.
because lots of people were saying, who's this kid who got the endorsement?" That was a very big responsibility, and it and at the time, to be honest with you, and I really think that I wasn't really ready to become an endorser, but I think that endorsement pushed me to become a better guitar player and
Mm.
become a better musician to get myself out there, and for that, I owe a lot to them. Yeah, I didn't, and it warms my heart that they believed in this like untested 15-year-old kid who hasn't proven anything, and knowing that really pushed me to practice more, to write, to meet new people, to get my music out there, and yeah, so it was a big thing for me back then.
So how was the Nam show? So who did you see in Nam?
Yeah, the NAM was really crazy. I I I have a story. Like, we were invited to a Sabian show, Sabian Symbols,
Right.
at the hotel. I forgot what hotel, but we were at the lobby. Um, we were at the lobby and we were just hanging out. And I saw this weird looking guy. He looks homeless. Yeah, he was like in a tank top. He looked that he didn't shower. He had really long hair. And when I looked closer, like, oh damn, that's Mike Portnoy. Oh my god. And I was standing right next to him, and I didn't know what to say. I was too shy, so like, I just
Right.
didn't. And I just froze up, and then I didn't really have the chance to meet them. And I have a lot of Nam stories, but it just it'll take most of our time. But for me, in a nutshell, Nam was really eye opening. I got to see new brands. Um, I met Perf De Castro. I called him Tito Perf at Nam. Yeah. Um, he introduced me to different people at NAM. I was really thankful for that. And in the stretch of the NAM show, I got to do a show in LA with Wolfie Mora, David Aguirre, and Phil Recto.
Right.
Yeah. Wolfie Mora was formerly Wolfgang.
So,
Uh,
so he's the wolf of Wolfgang, right?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, it's his gang. So
Yeah, it's
really,
good.
I think so. I didn't. I think he told me the story of that, but I just forgot. It's like 3 years ago. Yeah, yeah. If you're watching this, Tita Wolf, hi. I miss you. Hope we could, hope we could catch up soon. When I hope I could go to LA again.
Right.
And David Aguirre
The,
um was the from
the
Razorback.
Razorback, yeah.
Yeah, and um Phil Recto was a part of Bonehead. It's like a really, I think my dad told me it's a 90s underground band, so I just googled them, YouTube them, and they're and like they made that introduced me to their music. And damn, and I just realized, wow, what have I got myself into? I'm playing with these legends here in LA. So um, right before the NAM show, I I didn't I didn't really go out. Usually after school, I hang out with my friends. But in preparation for the NAM show and that show, my show with Wolf, I just went to school and went back home, just practiced like 6 hours a day again. So
Right.
yeah,
That's great. So I remember Joko. I mean, you're a big fan of Eric Johnson. So
yeah,
I remember you had a story that you saw him. you
yeah,
what's that story?
yeah. It was also the stretch of the NAM show. It was when I was in um, California for the NAM show, and he had a show right around the Orange County area, and there was no way I'm missing Eric Johnson because he was really the one who sparked my love for the guitar. Yeah. So my aunt bought the tickets for us, um, and it was a choice between a Clippers game or Eric Johnson. So like I'm a really big NBA fan, but
Mm.
back then the Clippers sucked. So yeah, I'm joking. No, it was clearly Eric Johnson. So yeah, we went to the show. It was released. It was not. It's not small. It's 19. It's like 19 East. The size of the place is like 19 East, or even bigger. They had a really huge stage. Um, um, when we came in, like the doorman talked to us. Hey, where are you guys from? And me and my dad, oh, we came from the Philippines. We came here all the way from the Philippines. We were attending the NAM show, and we saw that Eric Johnson had the show. And since my son, is a really big fan of Eric Johnson, it was a no-brainer. So it was a no-brainer at all for us to watch. So when you hear that, okay, okay, come in. When we came in, there was a big stage, and we saw that there wasn't really a band setup. There was just a big grand piano and a few acoustic guitars. And me and my dad looked at each other and said, "Are we at the wrong show, or is there any another Eric Johnson?" We did. So we googled. Okay, we're at the right show. Okay, we didn't really know what to expect,
Right.
and it turned out better, way better than we expected. He played the acoustic guitar beautifully, and he played the grand piano to perfection. Like he had this song, "Nothing Can Keep Me from You." It's one of my favorite songs from Abaya Musical, Eric Johnson's first album,
Mm.
and he played it on the piano. And what he did on the guitar, the licks, he played it on the piano, and that got me weeping. And I was like really weeping, like like tears, a huge load of tears like were in my eyes, and people around was just looking. were looking at us like, what the hell? But it was a really it's a real experience for me because I get to see Eric Johnson in front of me. Like I only saw him in the in my computer screen, my TV screen, but to actually be in the same room with him was really overwhelming. So I just couldn't take it anymore. I just cried. So yeah, right after the show, um, yeah, at the concert, I brought this guitar with me, the Jaguar, and we hoped that we could get it signed. So we just brought it. So after the show, and wait, during the show, there was a surprise appearance by Eric Gales. You're familiar with Eric Gales?
No.
Blues. He was a lefty guitar player. It's like you if you mix Eric Johnson with Jimi Hendrix. So it was really awesome. They were both there for the NAM show, and yeah, it was unexpected.
Right.
So anyway, right after the show, we came to the back door, like behind the stage, where we saw Eric Johnson came out. And at the back door, there was, I think it's his bodyguard. Um, we were coming out the back door, and he stopped us. Like, whoa, no, you can't. You're not allowed here. And luckily, the doorman who we met earlier came to the rescue, and he said to the bodyguard that no man, let them through. They came all the way here from the Philippines to watch him, to see him. And I was already bringing my guitar. I looked like an eager kid back then. So
Right.
he said, okay. So we went to the back door. He was outside, and we went in front of his trailer. Um, at the front of his trailer, at the parking lot, at the back of the venue, we waited um, outside his trailer for like 2 hours. We're just standing there and holding my guitar, and me and my dad were just um, talking. And it was really cold out. I think it was like 4 degrees.
Right.
Yeah, and I was shaking, but I didn't want to leave because I didn't want to pass up the opportunity to get my guitar signed. So um, uh, after a few minutes or after the 2 hours we were waiting, the the trailer moved, like they were moving to the front, and we were like we looked like crazy fans because we ran after the trailer. We were like full on sprinting. Yeah. So they came the trailer parked at the entrance gate of the venue, and we waited at the front once again for around 45 minutes. And my dad was already like, "Call Joel. Let's call a cab. It's gonna be a hard time for us to it's a lost cause right now." And I was like, no. We already waited like 2 hours. So right after that, he came out of the venue. He wasn't in his trailer. He came out of the entrance door, and I
Right.
was like frozen. I was frozen, and the bodyguard we met before, like, you have a fan here who wants to get his guitar signed, and he was very polite. Eric Johnson was very polite. He was tall as hell, and and he said, "Oh, hey man, okay, want me to sign something? You want me to sign your guitar?" And I was frozen. I couldn't really speak, and it was funny because my dad talked for me. Like, yeah, sure, we came all the way here from the Philippines. Oh, really? From Manila? Okay. So I was still frozen. My dad was like, "Joko, take out your guitar." And I was like, "Wait, what? Oh, okay." Then here, wait, let me get this. Yeah. So yeah, it's not yet over. Um, when I took out the guitar, his like assistant, bodyguard, or whatever, told me what color do you want. He had a set of sharpies, and I couldn't even speak. Uh, like and Eric Johnson said, I'll choose the black one for you, man. Like he chose the Sharpie so to get just to get it over with. And yeah, and that's where this came from.
Right.
Yeah, it's Eric Johnson's signature on my Jaguar. So
That's
that's
yeah, that's really a gem, right?
yeah. And when we got back from um when we got back from California, the first thing we did was go directly to Mike's season in Paranaque and had this placard
Right.
so it won't come off. And I don't even use this anymore. I don't even use it often
Right.
because it's semi-retired.
You're a fan of like Paul Gilbert, Eric
Mhm.
Johnson, and
Yeah.
how, I also noticed that you're also following and you're a fan of the new bands, right? Like Intervals,
Hmm.
Pliny. So
Yeah.
what are the new bands that you started listening to, Joko?
Um. It was kind of a journey for me. Like what I said earlier, I fell in love with prog music when I was bandmates with Tope and Francis, and they were pitching me these songs that we could play. For example, a song from Marco Scoli, a song from John Petrucci, and I just YouTube and everything. Then I saw this band called Bolivia,
Mm,
and Bolivia was the first band uh, that got me interested in the new prog scene, because they were really good, and I didn't hear any. And it's the first time I heard something like that. So after Polyphia, I saw Pliny, and after Pliny, I saw Intervals, and for me, Aaron Marshall was the one for me. It's like he's the one that I could listen to like over and over again, all day, every day. What the heck?
mm,
Yeah, and um, they were really in they were really a big influence um uh, to me when I started writing, because I saw that there's a scene, there's a thing here, and I we were playing me and Francis and Tope were already playing instrumentals, and I was trying to write, and I'm already writing instrumental music at that time, so I just gotta take it and there's an opportunity for this whole thing, and I'm just gonna continue with it. Yeah.
right. And I remember a few years ago you were invited to play in Philippine Arena, right, with Mike Hanapol.
Yeah, yeah. I was this guitar player. I
Wow.
was guitar player for that show, and it wasn't the Philippine Arena. It was the Philippine Sports Coliseum. It's like the
Ah, right, right.
little brother beside the Philippine Arena.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah. My stint with my Canopol started when at Roadhouse actually. Um, the story was really awesome because we were scheduled to play at example a Saturday, right? And we were in the same bill as my Canopol. Okay, oh cool, we're gonna play before him. We're gonna open for my Canopol Roadhouse at school.
Right.
Then the manager at Roadhouse called us. Like, he said that, "Oh, are you guys ready for tonight?" Yeah, okay. And we didn't know that it was. I thought it was Mike Hanapol and Mean J, and it turned out to be Mike Hanapol with Mean J. We were the ones who were gonna play for him, and
Wow.
we didn't. And we were yeah, we didn't know, and we when we found out like the day before, like the afternoon before the show, like
Joko, I think your
And
video.
we didn't have any song of him prepared. Two of them was Lucky Salayaw. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay now.
Okay, is it? Oh, it's okay now.
Yes.
Sorry, we have a lot of people. Like, we have a few people over because it's my birthday manyanita. I don't want to call it a party. Yeah. So yeah, with my canopol, that afternoon we immediately booked the studio. Excuse me, drink of water. And that afternoon we immediately booked the studio and like we listened to his songs. Like, okay, let's study this, let's practice this, and we asked my Canopol's manager what songs does he want to play. So he sent us a list and everything. At that night we played three sets with my Canopol, and most of the songs he sent us, like 60% of the songs he sent us, we didn't play at all. Like what happened is he told us the chords while we were on stage. For example, um 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 there's this song, I forgot the title, and he only told us the chords of the song right before we played it on stage. He just told us, okay, we're gonna go A B G, and it was really it was really an awesome experience because we haven't tried something like that yet, like playing impromptu music and just learning the songs on the fly. It's literally learning the songs while we were there or we were playing it. And that show started me and my Canopol's relationship, and he got me for some, and I played with him for some gigs, and yeah, that's where it all started.
Yeah. So this last Friday you released your latest single, right?
It's an EP.
EP. Yeah.
Yeah,
So what is it called?
it's called Sonic Spaghetti. Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, we were supposed to release it this Friday, but the distributor had some technical issues,
Right.
so it was the release will be tomorrow on Spotify. Actually, it's already out on Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music,
Mm.
but Spotify was it's gonna be the last of the party. So yeah, it's gonna be live hopefully by tomorrow.
So this new EP. So when did you started writing this one?
I started writing this um the songs from this EP around early May last year.
Mm.
I started uh wait no I started February last year. I started writing ballads. Yeah. No, the EP actually started with Bounce, and we and last year we had a launch for Bounce. But to me, I wasn't really satisfied with how it sounded way back then because I was still learning a few stuff with production and recording. So I decided to release it under EP. So Bounce was the first song I wrote. Then I wrote LDR around June last year. I think, yeah. I'm gonna check my the history of my project files. It's getting kind of mixed up right now.
Yeah. So why Sonic Spaghetti? What?
Yeah. Why Sonic Spaghetti? Because Sonic Spaghetti is actually a description of how how I actually write new music. Um, it it takes lots of practicing and noodling for me to get the stuff I put into my songs right. So just doing random things on my guitar, but when I put it together, it's like cooking. I'm cooking with something. I'm cooking something with the noodlings, the guitar noodlings as a main ingredient.
Right.
So the noodles becomes a song, and when I put melodies or hooks, for me that's the sauce. Yeah. I always compare stuff with food, and you can see it with me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The last one was Sunny Side Up, right?
yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah. What?
the
Yeah.
that's the
Go ahead, Joko. I think you got stuck again.
that's the whole chase. So I topped it off by just like wait,
Yeah, it's okay now. I can hear.
it's okay now.
Yeah,
So again, I topped it off with spices like since and ear candy. So the ear candy I think of as cheese on top spaghetti.
actually,
So
I saw your artwork for Sonic Spaghetti, and then I listened to it. Uh,
yeah,
you know the
yeah.
cartoon.
Shout,
You know the cartoon Adventure Time.
yeah,
It feels like
yeah.
something from Adventure Time, right?
It's like Jake.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Shout Nino Riantaso. Look him up. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Joko, I have some albums here. I'll just show you.
He
Yeah. Hello.
been
Yeah,
choppy. Oh, there.
yeah. So, Joko, I'll show you some albums. I just want to
Okay.
get your reaction. Uh, First one is this one.
Hmm.
You
Legendary.
you know this one, right?
Yeah. Actually, that's the first G3 I saw. Yeah. Yeah, and that's I'm already an Eric Johnson fan back then when I saw that, and I fell in love with him more with I didn't even watch his own performances. I watched how he performed with Satriani and Vi, and
Right.
I loved how he complemented the two. It was really unselfish. It was unselfish guitar playing, and when he did his own solos, he like completely shined.
Right.
Yeah, so um, I still have it. I still have that on. I still have that CD on me. I think it's buried under like it's
Right.
buried here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe you also like Satriani and Vi as well, right?
Yeah. I'm more. I don't listen to their music as much, but I know their famous works like Surfing with the Alien, For the Love of God. But I really didn't binge on their albums. But I am a fan of their guitar playing on a technical standpoint because they introduced a lot of things to the game.
Right. And then I have this one.
Oh, images and words. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah. Um I first heard of Dream Theater when I was 14. And the
Right.
first song I heard from them was Take the Time. And I was like, what the hell? Uh, those songs are possible. Are those songs exist? You can do that with songwriting.
Right.
That's my first. That album was my first taste of progressive rock music.
Yes.
God, legendary. Love that.
Yeah. And then I want to ask you about this album. I know you covered
Oh, Flower.
songs.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan of like um of Owl City. Not just Fireflies, but like their songs like Vanilla Twilight.
Right.
Uh, yeah, and I did a cover of Fireflies like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, and so I really wanted to do um that cover because I was really amazed on how the synth sounded, and I was curious like think I could do that on the guitar.
Mm.
It was really the synth sounds and the intro of that song and the main riff from the piano was, for me, is really, it's up there.
Yeah, that's our city, Ocean Eyes. Joko, you're back.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And then I have this one. Can you see?
They had Hot for Teacher, right? Am I
Right.
correct?
Yeah. That's
Oh,
actually,
there it is.
yeah, it says Hot for Teacher. Yeah, this is my actually that's one of my favorite videos of Van Halen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have I think I have an unpopular opinion. Like, but I actually preferred Van Halen with Hagar instead of Lee Roth.
Right.
Yeah,
Actually, me also. I listen.
yeah,
I got into Van Halen also when Sammy Hagar was there. So I like the sound of
yeah,
Sammy Hagar era than
yeah,
David Lee Roth. But this song is so funny. So
yeah, yeah. And the drum intro was really it's really out of this planet. Yeah.
so Joko, one thing I noticed with you, with going to the lessons when you're there and then seeing you perform, your dad is always with you, right? Dad is always
Yeah,
supportive of what you're doing. So,
yeah, and I love him for that. Yeah,
so you,
he's a
yeah,
he's my number one fan. So he also he also like he's there ever since he he's the one who introduced me to a lot of these things.
right,
So he he's the main thing. He's a really he's really a big part of my musical journey. And because I started my musical journey with him, I continue on my musical journey with him, and I am still on that journey with him right now.
right.
And I think he's like eating lots of food right now because we ordered a lot of food right now today because it's manyanita. I don't want to call it a party. So
All right. Okay, this it was really nice to talk to you, Joko. So,
yeah,
can you maybe you can a message to your fans?
great. Like I have fans. Well, um, okay. Get Sonic Spaghetti now. It's out on Apple. It's out on Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, and other digital stores. It will be available, I hope, on Spotify tomorrow, June 8th. And and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page, follow me on Instagram, and because I I dish out lots of new content like every week. So if you wanna see more of my nonsense, just follow me. And if you want to get sports updates, follow my Twitter. Yeah. Yeah, my Twitter is only for sports updates. I only tweet about sports stuff.
Okay. Yeah, your videos like when you do the playthroughs, like like there's two Jokos. It's really funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The other Joko doesn't have social media accounts. So.
Joko, anybody you want to shout out to?
Shout out to my bandmates, JB, Pawi, Jed, Tope, and Francis. I miss you guys. Love you guys. Shout out to my friends. Hi. I couldn't name. I
Mhm.
don't want to name because I don't want to name you specifically because I'm afraid of I think I'm gonna miss someone. And yeah, and when we're gonna meet, like, how dare you not mention me in the podcast? Just wanna avoid that. And shout out to my family. And they're just in the other room.
Right.
And yeah, um, uh, I think that's it.
So yeah, thanks Joko for
Thank
doing.
you so much, Channa. I miss you, man. Yeah.
Hopefully, you can see you perform again sometime after this COVID thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really itching to play live. I'm tired of playing guitar sitting down, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah, I just play guitar in my room. I'm gonna look weird if it just like rock out inside here. It's a small room.
Yeah, it's like you saw those I don't know if you follow like WWE. They do the WWE without the fans.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's not entertaining anymore to watch.
Yeah. I watch AEW more. So
Right.
yeah. I'm a big Chris Jericho fan. So
Yeah. Yeah, because he's also a rock artist also, right?
yeah.
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 So Joko,
It's kind of weird.
yeah, I'll see you around. Take
Yeah,
care.
see you around. Thank you
Thanks.
so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the review too. So
Yeah, Joko. All the way.
Thank you for tuning in to Kahuna Rock Academy. But we still got one more.